This is ESPN Esports. I'm Arda Ocal. Happy to be joined by Bjergsen. TSM riding a 4-game win streak. They just defeated Cloud9 in the latest in LCS play. Very impressive, emphatic victory, Bjergsen. What would you credit the win to?
I think we had some good practice this week, and we were able to take a lot of things that we practiced onto the stage game. Obviously, we played Kate Morgan both matches this week, I believe, and it was pretty successful in both. And we got a really good comfort pick for Broken Blade, and I think it was just the individual play really elevated this week as well. I think even the previous game we played on Friday and last week, we're doing things much better as a team, and we're more on the same page, but the individual play has been kind of lacking in certain instances where we're getting caught or we're misplaying a fight or we don't know what our role is in the fight. But today it felt like everyone really stepped it up, especially Spica had some really great team fights on set. Yeah, a lot of different things.
Seemed like the lane matchups were really good too. Like you said, Broken Blade was very good in top lane. Like, what did you make of the individual matchups against Cloud9 in this match?
I think he played the lane pretty badly. He eat into me and he lost his flash at like level 5 against TF, which shouldn't really be the case. And that should have led to us winning the Herald fight, but BB made a bit of a mistake and he uses Aurelia Sun on the Herald so that it wasn't ready for when the fight broke out. But it seemed like both of their solo lanes kind of got outplayed. They both lost their flashes 1 versus 1 before level 6. I don't really think that should be the case, and that really set us up for the good TF ult top that I got on Cannon, but then we misplayed the Herald fight afterwards. I think if we had played that Herald fight properly, the game would have ended around like 25 minutes or something. It probably would have been a stomp. So I think if you played a little bit better, it would have looked like a completely different game.
I know one thing that you had mentioned in a content video that TSM put out was working on comms going into this week. How are the comms this week?
Much better. We just had an issue with a lot of repeating and just a lot of people not really listening to each other because you get so hyped, adrenaline is so high that you just want to, you feel like everything is important and you have to say everything and everything matters, but it's a little bit more like, okay guys, we don't need to say the obvious things, we just need to communicate these things that are really important and make sure you listen to each other, acknowledge each other when we talk, and have a plan and be on the same page. And it felt much better in both games this week. In the EG game, like I said, there were a lot of kind of individual mistakes that led to the game not being as clean, but the comms and teamwork was there in both games.
So I mentioned 4-game win streak, TSM in control of their own fate, tied with C9, second in the standings here. Take me through, like, this has been a roller coaster year for TSM. So how confident would you say you are and the rest of the team is with playoffs looming? Where is the level of confidence right now?
Confidence is definitely growing. I see a lot of improvement kind of week to week. We're really identifying issues, and I'm actually seeing them get better in scrims or as the weeks go by, which is not the case always. There's a lot of times where a team improves really fast, and there's a couple of weeks where they might actually regress or they kind of stay the same. But I've seen consistent improvement from the beginning of the split. But in the beginning of the split, we were pretty far behind because we were such a new team. We added new members, new coaching staff. We had to figure out so many things, but every week we've learned something. And now we're at the point where we actually look like a decent team because all of our learnings have kind of compounded. So I think we play against GG and Fly next week, and those are both looking like pretty solid teams. So we have to play well and play strong to beat these guys. They're not kind of rollover matchups for us.
I know I spoke with Double Lift at the beginning of the split, and he said that his motivation has never been so high since the CLG days. He said like he hasn't had this level of motivation to want to win a split in a very long time. What's your level of motivation?
I think my motivation is much higher than it has been in the last split and even last year, but not necessarily because of anything different about me individually, but just because of the potential that I see in the team and the players that we have. In the last couple of years, I've dealt with a lot of players who don't really fit into the culture. Maybe they're very negative, or they just don't see being a team and being a player in TSM the same way that I do, and that's really hard when you disagree at a very fundamental level. But now I feel like we have 5 players who want the same things. We agree for the most part on how to practice, how to be a team, how we act in a team, what we do together, and also kind of the org in helping facilitate that, like helping us be healthier, helping us exercise together, encouraging us to do activities to bond as a team. So I think my motivation has just grown with knowing that we can actually accomplish something, and and that we can be the best team in NA. And that makes it much easier for me to spend a lot more time practicing and committing all my time.
So the culture, the players that are on the roster right now, where would you say it is in terms of the culture, the vibe of the team? Is it better than it has been in a long time?
Yeah, we just have 5 players who are really hungry to win and who all have strong voices. That doesn't mean that they have to talk all the time in the game, but that means that everyone is willing to tell each other when you up or when someone is doing something that you don't like, or of course, taking criticism can be a little bit difficult. And that's also something we worked on when someone is giving you that direct feedback, how to not be immediately defensive and understand that this guy's just trying to help you become a better player. He's not trying to tell you that you suck or that you played this like crap. Um, but it's harder when you have players who don't really talk and they don't voice their opinion. They hold their opinions in, and they don't really want to spend as much time with the team, or they just want to go home as soon as scrims are over. But we have 5 players who are, they're just fully engaged and they're all in on this team and spending time with the team, learning, improving themselves, helping improve others. I just really like that culture.
So naturally, this all leads to summer split playoffs and then, of course, Worlds. And we heard the announcement that Worlds is going to look a little different this year. It's going to be a bubble world, so to speak, in Shanghai. I'm just curious, once that announcement was officially made, did you and your teammates, I know this is, projecting very far, there's still work to do, but did you and your teammates have any conversations about the announcement of what Worlds is going to look like, and any initial thoughts on that?
Hmm. I think we've known for a bit longer that that was likely going to be the case because the teams are obviously in conversation with Riot. Uh, so it didn't really come to a huge surprise, and I think that's also why people haven't really been talking about it. I think we knew that if Worlds was going to happen, it was going to happen in this kind of bubble system, or NA probably wouldn't be able to go because of how bad COVID really is here, especially in Los Angeles. So, I mean, I'm happy that it seems like we are able to go. And of course, it's not ideal. We're probably going to have to go and be quarantined for 2 weeks and be separated. Uh, but yeah, I'm really hopeful that we can get to go play internationally, and hopefully we'll go there having an LCS trophy on our hands.
I know maybe you haven't asked this question to your teammates. Maybe I'll ask this your opinion. But in other sports that have adopted this bubble format, we have seen some athletes sit out for whatever reason. Have you thought about whether or not it would be a formality? Like, yes, I will go if TSM were to qualify. Like, have you given that any thought at all, and whether it would be a concern traveling to China at this time?
Um, I'm kind of living in my own bubble of esports and League of Legends, so I don't really pay attention to how COVID is doing and all these kinds of things. So I haven't really thought too much about it. Obviously, the default thing is, okay, we're going to Worlds, we're going to go, because that's not an opportunity you have always, and I haven't been able to go to Worlds. But obviously, once that comes, once we're sure we're going to Worlds, that's probably something that we're going to talk about. And I wouldn't hold it against one of my teammates if they don't feel safe. I have asthma personally, so if I was to get COVID, I know that it could impact me really strongly. I don't know how that will be if I'm in China and I'm going to have to be hospitalized. So, of course, it's a little worrisome when I have had pretty bad asthma since I was a kid. But yeah, not something I've thought about too much, but I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about it once we actually know whether we're going or not.
Well, certainly a couple matches left in the regular season for TSM Bjergsen. The team is 4-0. Continued success in the LCS. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.